Opening up the canopy, letting light in for the grass. Large grazing animals like the antelopes mow the grass by eating it. Little nibblers like gazelles and warthogs trim up the edges. In a well-balanced natural system like this, there's always enough food for everyone. That's a female reticulated giraffe over there on the left. Reticulated giraffes get their name from the Latin word reticulata, which means net, describes their coat pattern. There's another female reticulated giraffe walking in front of us there. Those are full-grown adult females. The males get up to about 19 to 20 feet. Females average around 17 to 18 feet. These two little girls over here in the middle are a couple of juvenile Maasai giraffe females. Maasai giraffes get their name from the Masai Mara, the area they live in. And their coat pattern's a little different. You'll notice their spots are smaller, darker, and more jagged shaped than the nice even shapes on the reticulated giraffes. These girls are about 3 years old, so they've got a couple of years to grow yet till they catch up to the other two. The tall mounds of earth you see on either side of the road are termite mounds. They're hard as concrete. For that reason, elephants like to use them for scratching posts. They're harder to knock down than the trees are. Eventually, though, all that rubbing and scratching does wear them down. When they're worn down to the size of the one on the right, then the antelope use them as observation points to watch for predators in the tall grass. So keep your eyes open. You never know what's in the grass around here. These shaggy gray antelope crossing the road, and on the right, are white-bearded wildebeest, or blue wildebeest. Wildebeest get their name from the Afrikaans word for wild cattle, which is wildebeest. They're the largest migratory group in the savanna. Almost 2 million wildebeest migrate each year, making it one of the largest animal land migrations left in the world today. Wildebeest are also known as gnus, that's G-N-U, and they get that name from the sound they make, which sounds kind of like gnu. Up on the top of the hill in front of us, there's some big cattle with long horns. Those are, let's see, yeah, those are Ankoli cattle, or Watusi cattle. The Watusi people were the first to domesticate that breed several thousand years ago. The horns in those cattle can reach up to 6 feet long each, but they're not as heavy as they look because they're mostly hollow inside. They're honeycombed with blood vessels and membranes, and act as radiators regulating body heat for the cattle, and only weigh about 10 pounds apiece. Cattle are also known as Egyptian longhorns, and that's because their pictures appear in the tomb paintings and hieroglyphics of ancient Egypt. That's how old that breed of cattle is, almost 8,000 years. Now, if you look at the top of the hill over there on the right, there's a couple of big old trees that look like they're upside down, with their roots up in the air. Those are baobab trees, or baobabs, known as the upside-down tree. They survive long periods of drought by storing water inside those huge trunks, and they conserve that water by going leafless and dormant like they are now for 9 months out of the year. And that allows them to survive for several thousand years. One on the right looks about 2,000 years old. The older they get, the bigger they get. We're approaching Monkey Point in elephant territory. Over. Roger, Wilson. We'll keep our eyes open then. Watch out for the poachers. There's a male elephant over there on the right. We'll get a closer look at him in a minute. Let's see if I can pick up a radio station from Manabe Village. We can usually pick one up here. Add a little music to our trip with some local flavor to it. There we go. I think I've got one. Well, looks like the road's washed out here. We're going to have to take the detour. There's that male elephant. Males are loners. Sometimes they're not far from a herd of females and youngsters, though. So Wilson did mention elephant activity at the red clay pits, and we're almost there. So with a little luck, we should see some more elephants soon. But first, we're going to have to cross this old bridge. I see it's had some repair work done since I was here last. Doesn't look all that sturdy though, I don't know. I think we better go poli-poli. That's Swahili for very slowly, just to be safe. So everybody, hold on. Everything else seems to be holding up all right. Uh-oh. Okay, everybody, lean to the right. Shut your weight so we can get straightened out and get off this thing. There. That was close. But we made it. Good work, guys. Thanks. And here we are at the red clay pits. I see elephant tracks down here and tusk marks in the clay. Elephants come down here to scrape and eat that red clay to add trace minerals to their diet. Acts as a supplement to the vegetation. The African elephant is the largest land mammal. Both the males and the females grow tusks. Makes them both susceptible to poaching for ivory. The more we learn about these animals, though, the better we can protect them. Our scientists here in Harambe are currently studying their vocal communications to learn how they interact with one another and how that helps them survive. Elephant herds consist of females and their offspring. The males, like I said, are loners. They only join the herd individually briefly during mating season in the spring, then go off on their own again, and the females raise the young. The whole herd participates in raising the babies, and baby elephants stay with their mothers anywhere from 13 to 15 years till they're almost fully grown. They have the second longest childhood next to humans. That's why Wilson was so upset about picking up a baby elephant wandering around on its own out there. That's very unusual. Yeah, it looks like they're still hiding behind the rocks somewhere. The big birds here on the island on the left are greater flamingos. They're the largest and the lightest pink of all the flamingos. And there's those Watusi cattle again over here on the right. Get a closer look at them. Check out those horns. Now, flamingos all get their pink color from the beta-carotene in their food. They feed on brine shrimp and krill and small crustaceans. The beta-carotene collects in their skin and feathers and accumulates over time, gradually turning their skin and their white feathers pink. We are now crossing into white rhinoceros territory, so watch out for white rhinos. And here's a family group. Mom and dad and a baby rhino. She's a little over a year and a half old. That's mom behind her. The white rhinoceros is a great success story. Once hunted almost to extinction for their horns, thanks to conservation and anti-poaching efforts, their population's been restored to a sustainable level now, and growing, as you can see. Now, the white rhino's not white, just like the black rhino isn't black. They're both gray. Like I said, the difference is their lips. You'll notice the lips on these guys are wide and flat. That's because they're grass munchers, like cows. And actually, that's how they get their name. It's from the Afrikaans word for wide, describing those upper lips. The Afrikaans word for wide is white, so they were called the white rhino, and that somehow got translated into white rhino. Rhinos are actually the color of whatever mud they've been rolling in. They wallow in the mud just like pigs do. So these guys have been wallowing in this mud pit over here, so they're all covered with a nice coat of that reddish clay.
I see you at the junction. I suggest you go west. It will be worth it.
Roger, Wilson, we'll do that. Okay. This rock formation coming up in front of us is called a kopje in Afrikaans. Kopje are favorite places for lions to gather, and to see a male lion sleeping on the rock there in the middle of the hill. Lions are unique amongst the big cats. They're the only ones that gather together into family groups called prides and hunt together cooperatively as a group. Contrary to popular belief, though, it's the females that do all the hunting for the pride, not the male.
Wake up.
Lions spend 18 to 20 hours a day resting and sleeping, and that's how we usually see them asleep. Like most cats, they're active primarily at nighttime. There's a couple of ostriches over there under the trees on the right. Ostriches are the largest flightless birds. They have wings and feathers like other birds. They're just too big and bulky, and their wings too small to fly. So they depend on those strong legs to run, and they can run about 40 miles an hour. There's a couple of scimitar horned oryx running up over here. On the right there, a rare desert antelope, almost extinct. Another white rhino on the hill. You can get another look at this lion sleeping over here. There you go, you can get a nice shot of that. Like a big pussycat on a windowsill. Let's just want to come up there and pet him. Alrighty, I see some warthog burrows here in the hillside. Warthogs are the largest burrowing mammals. There's a big male warthog over there under the tree. Warthogs are the largest burrowing mammals. They use their burrows primarily for self-defense. When they're threatened, they back into the burrow with their tusks facing out and defend themselves that way, and their tusks are razor sharp. There's some more ostrich eggs here on the left. The brown antelope laying down here on the right with the white faces are bontibucks. Bontibucks are endangered. They're only found in reserves now. They've been hunted completely out of existence in the wild, primarily as bushmeat. These antelope over here on the right are addax. That's ADDAX. They're a desert antelope also. Like all desert animals, they're rare now because of habitat loss. There's only about 500 in the wild. They can survive almost indefinitely without drinking water. They get all the moisture they need from the desert plants they feed on, like succulents and cacti. Uh-oh.
Can you help us get them up?
What do you say, folks? Should we help them? Let's go help Wilson and get those poachers. Uh-oh, looks like the poachers crashed through the gates to break into the reserve here. We haven't seen them. They must have doubled back this way to get out and escape. Wilson, if you want our help, what direction are the poachers headed now? Over.
The poachers are heading east.
Uh-huh.
Keep going and just drive them to my patron. Over.
Roger, Wilson. They're heading towards us. We'll cut them off for you. Over. Now we're off the reserve. The road's rougher, and watch out for those geysers. They might get a little wet. No sign of the poachers, though. Uh-oh. Looks like the poachers' camp up ahead. Wilson, seems we're too late. This camp looks abandoned by the poachers.
Oh, not to worry. You dropped them right into my patron.
Great, glad to hear that. Did you catch them, Wilson? Over.
The poachers tried, but they won't get far.
Oh, good.
Thanks to you, they are now both safe. I'll come get Sana everywhere.
Well, Kenny Vasana, Wilson, anytime. Glad we can help. Over. Good idea. We'll catch you later, Wilson. Folks, thanks so much for your help chasing down those poachers and saving that baby elephant. Couldn't have done it without your help. However, that did take us off the reserve, so unfortunately, we're going to have to drop you off at the nearest warden post here in the jungle and cut your trip short. But don't worry, it's only a short walk from the warden's post back to Harambe village where you can continue your African adventures. Here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye to our friends. It's too final sounding in English, so we say Kwaherini. That's Swahili, and it means go well. So, Asante Sana, folks. Thanks again for all your help with the poachers. You're a great group. Kwaherini, go well, and have a wonderful day. Jambo.